You don't have to build a big trellis to grow your watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, other fruits vertically if you don't have the space or the time. So here, I use cattle panel to make a big trellis to grow my watermelon, my cantaloupes, and my honeydew melons. Another thing you can try is just use a trellis that you've already got built. If you have a fence in your property, you can just use that. That's what I'm trying here. I planted the seeds right by the edge of the fence. Once the vines grew long enough, I then just took some garden twine, tied it to the top of the fence, brought that string down, and I tied it to the vine. And now the vine's growing to the left there, up off the ground. The other vine I tied up right here, and now it's growing up and along, doing quite well. Once I saw the honeydew melon start to set, I just took some 16 gauge wire, went around that fence cross beam and tied it off. And then when the fruit was smaller, when I first saw it, I just set it inside this hose, tied the hose right there to that 16 gauge wire, and that one's growing quite well. It's pretty big, it's about ready to harvest. I did the same thing with my cantaloupe. Once the vines got long enough, just took that garden twine, tied it off to the top of the fence, and I pulled the vine up, loosely tied it up, and now it's just growing right up along the garden twine, moving sideways. Here's the cantaloupe, took the hose, scooped it up, and just tie it to the fence hardware right there. And it's just growing along sideways as well. Did the same thing for my watermelon. Once the vines got long enough, I just took the garden twine, tied it off the top of the fence, started tying up the vines, and they're just growing along sideways, as you can see. Others, I did the same thing. Some of these vines that started to grow up, I just tied off the string from the top of the fence, tied them up, and they're all doing quite well. So that's one way that you can try growing your different fruits vertically along the fence without having to build a separate trellis. You can just use the fence you already have. It doesn't take up a lot of space. I'm not doing anything over on that side of the fence anyway. And so it's growing pretty well. Looks pretty good. Here's my timeline. June 15th, on the left is a honeydew plant, and in the middle is the cantaloupe. June 26th, the cantaloupe vines are spreading. They're almost long enough to begin tying up. July 12th, the vines have been tied up using garden twine, and they're growing vertically along the fence. July 18th, I found this hidden cantaloupe between the post and the picket. July 27th, it was getting too large, so I had to pull it back off to the side and support it with some hose. August 10th, you can see the color change and the stem was separating, and there was very good fragrance. August 12th, I went ahead and harvested the cantaloupe, and it was very tasty. I'm also growing watermelons vertically along the same fence. I used some 16 gauge wire and some hose to make a hammock for them. You can see how it's growing larger here. Check out that video too. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.